All right.
Let's see. Oh, there we are. Look
Woo! So as it turns out, we don't need Gary.
Hey, apparently not. Apparently we know what we're doing. What's
the
up?
coup d'etat is complete.
Let's see if anyone joins us here. You got the Will and Rob show kicking things off tonight.
So here we go. There we are.
All right. If you're in the chat, holler so we know you're here. I'll do my best Gary impression till he's able to join us.
How's my complexion looking tonight here?
It looks spectacular. WWE Front Row's here. We knew you'd be here first.
Yes.
Per usual. Hope you're enjoying a nice cigar and beautiful Sunday evening tonight. Let's see. Do need to tweak this out so people can hop on. Spectacular, dude.
All right.
It was short and sweet. Oh, all right. Who else is with us? Anybody else with us? We'll kick things off here. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Gary is on call for his work this week, so he's putting out a fire right now. Brian Lang's in the house. What's up, Brian? Hey, man. Thanks again for that artwork. I've been showing everybody I talk to. I'm like, oh, hey, check this out. This guy Brian Lang, he did some artwork of me and the guys. So I've been showing that off to everyone.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Sweet. We got several people on. So yeah, a couple of things. Like I said, Gary is a little occupied at the moment. He will join us, hopefully. But Rob is, as you can tell, Rob is at the virtual beach, but he's also at the real beach. So he's on vacation. And for the first time ever, when Gary gets here, all three of us are in the same state because you're in South Carolina right now.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Man, shoot. I felt like there was something right with the universe when I crossed into North Augusta today on I-20. It's like, hey, something just feels right.
When you get the three beards in the same state, it's like, oh, there he is.
Dude, our braiding's just
we were just
a second ago. What happened? Oh,
there's Gary. Listen, we were just talking about the fact that all three of our beards are in the same state right now.
Oh, weird. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Ever.
It's crazy.
You know what's weird though is it's daylight behind Doc Stinson there, so I'm not sure how that's happening.
Myrtle Beach is on that Western time zone.
So weird.
Yeah, I'm in North Myrtle Beach, Gary. So
yeah, that makes sense.
We're doing our own thing.
You know, the only thing missing is you should have got this is the NWA graphic tee, like a spray painted or airbrushed.
Yeah.
Hey man, I've only been here for like 6 hours, so that's gonna happen, man. That's gonna happen. When we go out to the boardwalk tomorrow, man, get a root beer float, go get us some airbrush. This is the NWA hashtag gravy tag, hashtag NWA fam t-shirts, man. Heck yeah.
There you go.
That's all we're lacking in the store. You'll have to get a bunch of them made up so we can sell them on the website.
Shoot, I'm just gonna get some white Fruit of the Loom shirts and just a couple magic markers, man, and just start taking commissions.
Yeah, that is not the quality. Man. Just as a disclaimer, that is not the quality of the items in our store. They're actually nice quality apparel. So we don't let Rob handle that.
What's up, you beautiful people? It's good to be here.
There it is. I thought I was going to finally have to say that tonight.
Oh my God. I am on call. I'm sure Front Row knows something about that. I know he's in the chat. No, he does a similar job for more important people than me, I'm sure. Zicky Dice liked his tweet to us, giving us a topic to discuss.
We got
so there's that. Oh boy, I'm excited.
Myrtle Beach has the best. What's he saying? Dino's in North Beach has the best breakfast. Thank you for that tip, man. We might hit that up tomorrow. We're just cool. Thank you, WWE Front Row.
It's my jam.
Word.
Oh, so who here? Dave Scooby, Brian Lang, Front Row. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad to be here. I was on a work call and that was no bueno. I don't like doing work calls when I want to be live chatting about wrestling. Will, did you already send out a tweet about this and such? Or
I did. It was really simple. It was just like, hey, click this.
Wrestling with the MMA stopped in to say hey to everybody watching Unsolved Mysteries with the wife tonight. I'll see everyone tomorrow night for Monday Night Wars. Heck yeah, man. I started watching that Unsolved Mysteries show today too.
That's good, man.
It is good. I miss Robert Stack. I do. I will say that.
So it's I'm not in the know about this. Is it like a modern version of that classic, the classic Unsolved Mystery?
Yeah, Netflix brought it back. Yeah, like it's like only, what is it, Stinson? Like six episodes or something now.
Like that. Yeah.
So they're probably testing the waters, see how it works. It's little mini docs, like 50 minutes, but no Robert Stack. But they still have the super creepy theme song. So
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
Have you seen any of the Twilight Zone, the new Twilight Zone series?
Yeah. I saw the first season. I haven't seen the new season that just came out.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Will, you'll have to allow me to share my screen when you get started talking. I figure you'll lead us through the outline for that other stuff, but
let me see.
Anyway, I'm also going to just share this tweet since.
Cool. Yeah. So Dave Scooby in the chat says that this is the NWA podcast. Ball caps. It's in the works, my friend. We are sampling some now, and when we land on one, those will hit the store. So stay tuned.
Hey, should we tell them about the Bearded Trio action figures yet? Or are we going to hold that news off?
We'll get there.
Oh,
let's let Aldous have his day first, and then we'll unveil ours.
Oh man. Well, are you guys ready to get started with the regular show? Or I just didn't know where you guys were at already. So
we just went live.
Step on any toes.
We were just shooting the breeze.
Oh man. Yeah,
I had one of those calls where no details, but where it's just like stuff that people could do on their own. They just really wanted me to do it with them for some reason. I don't know. So that's what that was. Anyway. All right. Well, hello, you beautiful people. This is Gary Horn, and this is the NWA, the podcast celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest wrestling entity of all time, and that is the National Wrestling Alliance. And with me, as always, on my screen, he's above me. I don't know where he's at on YouTube. I'm going to look real quick. Oh, no, it's just bouncing back and forth. Will's got us on that speaker view. So Will Martin is here.
Hello.
Great. And also the PhD in WrestleNomics, the doctor of style, the one, the only, Doc Stinson, live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Doc McLovin in the house. Mic check, 1 2. My mic sounds so nice.
It's working good out there on the beach, man. It looks good.
Yeah. Not picking up that breeze at all. It's not even interfering. It's remarkable.
And it looks like you got a hell of a breeze out there. So that's crazy.
But your hair is intact. It's nice.
Yeah, man. And there's no chemicals in here. This is just juices and berries in this here. I don't put any kind of little pomegranate, little lemon juice. So you would think my locks would be flowing in the wind, but yeah, it's just strange. North Myrtle's a strange place, guys.
Speaking of your long flowing locks, Doc Stinson, I sent you a package the other day. So I sent it on Friday. So you should be getting it. It's from our lovely sponsors over at manscaped.com. They sponsor the NWA pod. Using the code NWA pod, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So make sure you check those out, because long flowing locks are cool when they're on top of your head. You can push them back with a bandana, but when they're below the belt, not quite as appealing, especially in a bathing suit. Am I right, Doc?
Yeah, we caught some strange looks today. So.
He won't be able to enjoy that for this trip, but when you get back, you should be able to take care of business, I hope. All right. And guys, we got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot going on in the world of the NWA and the world of professional wrestling. And I got to give props to Will today. He threw together the notes to get us all together. We're gonna talk current events first. And Will, you have on the outline here 2019 YouTube wrestling stats. So you're gonna have to fill me in. You're the man today. What is that all about? 2019 YouTube wrestling stats.
Yeah, I was just gonna let you take that one. You go ahead.
So in 2019, there was some wrestling stuff.
No, so okay. So I'll give you some context. So this was something that came out on Fightful Select today or yesterday maybe, but it was recapping all of the YouTube stats for wrestling in 2019. I guess it took them like 6 months to pull 2019 stats together. And it was just interesting. So I thought I'd go through the list of the different promotions and point out kind of the top performing YouTube content for each. Some of them are, well, a little surprising. Some of them aren't. But starting with WWE, the number one in 2019, the number one viewed YouTube video was Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley arm wrestling. Number one. 38 million views. Let that sink in.
I don't want to hate on anybody in particular. I just hate that that's true. I don't know why.
Don't worry, because number two is Braun Strowman flips a limo. 18.9 million views.
I would be more on board with that if it wasn't that Braun Strowman's already flipped an ambulance.
Yeah.
So
I'll just run through the rest of these. We don't have to react to all of them, but I just thought this painted a good picture of the difference really between wrestling and sports entertainment. Number three,
I would be more on board with it if it was Braun Strowman flipping a house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Putting shiplap.
I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to break Stinson, and because he's just seemed like stone faced over there.
Number three is Roman Reigns.
Like, here we go, man. WWE stuff.
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins save Dean Ambrose. Number four is Brock Lesnar attacks Rey Mysterio. 5 is Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair brawl. How is that not number one? That was like hands down the best thing that happened in 2019. Number 6 is Undertaker helping Roman Reigns. 7 is Roman Reigns storms Shane McMahon's VIP room. I don't remember that, but number 8, Cain Velasquez debuts. I think that was on the first SmackDown on Fox that night.
Well, it turned into like a huge deal for WWE. I mean, I remember that kind of changed the path for WWE for years to come.
Yeah, of course. And now he's gone. Number 9, Goldberg and Undertaker meet face to face. So I guess it was just a video of them looking at each other. I don't know. And then number 10, Roman Reigns returns, which was a pretty cool emotional moment. But so that was the top 10 2019 WWE content. And then I'll just give some high levels. Ring of Honor number 1 was Rush versus Matt Taven, full Ring of Honor title match. So look at that, a wrestling promotion, and their best content is an actual wrestling match. Imagine that. So there's that. AEW.
We're to find one of those now.
Yeah, AEW, they're number one performing, and this doesn't count being the elite because they're on their own channel. So those obviously do really well. But for AEW, their number one was the Full Gear Go Home segment. I'm not sure I'm guessing that was a brawl of some sort, probably, with their track record. Let's see. New Japan, number one was Moxley and Shota's backstage promo. Impact, number one is Jordan Grace versus Alexa Nicole. Let's see. Get down here to MLW. Their number one was the 2019 Battle Riot. And then the NWA, this is where we'll end. And I'll kind of go through this list because obviously NWA's advantage is the entire content library is on, YouTube. So I was going to let you guys guess of everything that the NWA has on YouTube in 2019. What do you think the number one performing piece of content on YouTube was? And if anybody in the chat wants to guess too, I'll give it a couple minutes.
I think I may know this for the NWA.
Yeah.
Was it Scott Steiner?
No.
Okay. Was that 2019? I remember when they posted up that Scott Steiner showing up on Power, and that thing got so many views like instantly. I remember just watching that.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess it's Camille Speaks.
No, good guess though.
Is it question marks karate demonstration?
No. Is that on there? Oh yeah, no, that is on there. Yeah, I don't know if that was on the NWA or on a separate YouTube. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a little hint. Keep in mind that all of NWA programming is on their YouTube channel, not just clips.
So would it have been maybe the Aldous Cody replay?
No.
Huh.
Man, you're killing me.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. I was going to give people in the chat, I don't know what the delay is. I was going to give them.
I'm seeing Thunder Rosa versus AK.
No.
From front right there. But
so this is actually, this blew me away, and it's actually a really good thing, but then it makes sense when you think about it. But Power Episode 1, it was the number one performing. And that's the thing, like, I was kind of like you guys, like we think in terms of like these clips and these recaps and things like that. But, the NWA, their entire programming is on YouTube. And so I thought that was kind of cool that that Power Episode 1 was the highest, 600,000 views. And it's interesting because I wonder if and maybe you guys know more about this because you've been in the NWA club a little longer, but some of these are duplicates on this list, but they have a different thumbnail. It's like, I don't know if they changed the thumbnail or something and got more views. The one that's duplicated is Episode 3. And apparently NWA Power Episode 3, 257,000 views with James Storm, Eli Drake, Aldous, and Cabana thumbnail. And then it's also number 7 at 243,000 views with Tim Storm, Eli Drake thumbnail. So I don't know what that's about.
Which one was the Jim Cornette edit?
Okay. Was that the episode?
was that? No, that would have been. Wait, that was episode.
I thought it was further along.
Yeah, I think that's like episode 5, 6, like 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I was doing the rewatch there for a little bit, and I got through. I think Stinson, we did like.
3.
I think Will, we did. Yeah, we did 3, and then Maddie and I did some, and Will and I did. I can't remember. Anyway.
Yeah. So here I'll run down the top 10 list, and we don't have to dive into all this because I know we're short on time. But number 1 was NWA Power Episode 1. Number 2 was the Briscoes Confront the Rock and Roll Express. Number 3 was Power Episode 2. Number 4 was Power Episode number 3. And then number 5 was Scott Steiner's debut. So you were in the top 5, Gary, with your guess. Number 6.
At least I had that.
Yeah. Number 6 is Power Episode 6. Number 7 is Power Episode 3 again with a different thumbnail. Number 8 was Power Episode 5, and 9 is Power Episode 10, and then 10 is Power Episode 7. So I don't know, it's interesting to go back and see what happened on those that made them, because basically if you look at the Power episodes in order, there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 10, and then 7. That was how they stacked up in viewership for 2019. So I just thought that was interesting, and maybe we can dive more into that in another episode or something and talk about that. But it was cool. That came out, like I said, on Fightful Select in the past couple of days, and just thought it'd be a cool talking point. Don't know if anybody in the chat has any thoughts about that, but I thought it was interesting.
It's pretty interesting. I'll tell you what most of this is telling me is that we need more NWA content. I am missing a regular NWA wrestling show. And I know some of you showed up in the this wasn't on our notes, but the highspots.com auction, the gimmick table at 6:05 on when was that, Thursday? I think it was. And Nick Aldis appeared on that, as well as George South, and that was pretty interesting. But the biggest takeaway I had from it, besides I picked up a Marty Bell autograph, and there was a lot of cool stuff that was going up for auction there. Some stuff way out of my price range, but good for you guys that got it. Front Row picked up some stuff, I know. But the interview with Aldis that they did, they talked a little bit about future plans and that sort of thing. And Aldis definitely in the middle of that said something about they realize more and more that people just want to see them wrestle. And that they, they didn't have there. They had plans to wait and see if this thing blew over or when this one blew over or something like that. He's like, but we see now that people are ready to see us get back in the ring and wrestle or something like that. So he didn't really give like any specifics other than that. But that one comment, I was like, so wait a minute, is that guy saying that potentially we could be seeing that sometime in the near future?
Well, he did also mention empty arena as an option.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was when the conversation, like he was kind of against, or they used to be against it, but it's looking like, yeah, you're right. Sorry. That may be on the table now or something.
Yeah, and I think it's just because, I think they didn't know how long this was going to go on. Obviously, none of us do know how long all this is going to go on. But I think, once they come to the realization that, people want to see wrestling, and, if there's an option to put it on, even if it's not the best option, I support that they didn't run right to that like the other promotions that had TV deals and stuff did, because they wanted to keep people safe. But I think the further along this gets, it does make sense to at least, start exploring some options. It doesn't have to be a weekly show. It could be a monthly show. It could be, they could do a big, round of tapings like they do for Power, just empty arena, and kind of put those out, little by little. But I definitely think from the NWA fam, I think I speak for all of us, that we would prefer empty arena wrestling to the radio silence we're getting right now.
Now, I will ask you guys this. If the option was on the table, let's just throw it out there. This is purely just hypothetical. But if they were to come back to Atlanta and they had some sort of setup in the studio and they were going to allow a limited number of fans in, if you sign a waiver that you're willing to go and sit, obviously, if they feel comfortable enough, or at least that if they're comfortable with you signing a waiver to get in and do it, would you be willing to go sit in the studio and watch NWA Power right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I would, I'd come in there with a spacesuit on if I could, if I could watch. Now, I think David Lagana, right towards the end of his tenure, on a couple of different occasions, though, it said something to the effect, and it might have been in one of the Patreon meetings, or maybe it was on a Carney Land episode or something, but he'd said that, look, the NWA was committed to Power being with an audience, but that doesn't mean that there would not still be empty arena shows that wouldn't be Power. So, that's obviously been in discussion now that this pandemic has become more protracted. But if they said tomorrow, hey, you can come in at your own risk, here's what you got to do, I'd be like, man, whatever I got it. If I need to wear a spacesuit, and I need to sit on my head, if I need to, whatever, man. If I need to come in a bubble, I'll do it.
I think I would too, personally. I mean, for myself, like, no, I wouldn't sit on my head, but
it just doesn't make any
otherwise.
Well,
we get what you're saying. You would do whatever it took to get there and be safe. Now, I think I would go as well. Hopefully they would have safety precautions in place and things would be good. But I'm itching to see some live wrestling. So it would be a serious conversation for sure.
Throwing over to the chat, I see WWE Front Row saying he'd go. Dave Scooby saying they should sell cardboard seat fillers and insert them between people. That's a cool idea. Like maybe just whoever can't go. Like if Sandoval can't show up, there should be a cardboard Sandoval there at least.
Oh, for sure.
And Jonathan Darwood in the chat, welcome Jonathan, says, I have to take care of a mother-in-law who is in a high-risk category, so I have to take a pass. That's completely understandable, I think. I think that any of us, I mean, I can only speak for me, but one of the reasons I'd be okay with it is like I literally deal with my wife on a day-to-day basis. That's pretty much it. It's us, and we're around each other anyway, and if I went, she'd probably go, and so it'd be whatever. So like we would just be seeing each other again, and we would have no problem quarantining afterwards. So I don't see it being a thing for us, but I could totally understand if you're regularly seeing someone or around someone that has some kind of health risk for this thing.
Yeah.
Brian Lang says he would be there. Joe points out that WWE Front Row already brings cardboard heads, and he does. He brings the Dave LaGreca cardboard head, so there's one.
Cool.
I was just curious where people would land on that. I just think it's kind of an interesting idea. I don't know, that they would even consider something like that. Like Will pointed out that Legata had mentioned, and now Aldis is kind of hinted at, that empty arena wrestling wouldn't be off the table, but Legata was just used to always be hung up on, or I think he attributed this to Billy as well, just that the studio lends itself to having that audience and the sound that the audience makes, and that's part of it. So I was kind of thinking to myself, just maybe they would still want to capture that if at all possible. Now they could do the thing that WWE and AEW are leaning into, just have people that are already there in the audience, their employees and that sort of thing. But anyway, otherwise, just an interesting idea if they decided to let some fan. I mean, obviously they can't do a packed house, but it would be cool if they had some kind of a raffle or drawing or something like that.
Certainly, NWA power, the audience is very key to it, but audiences are key to any spectator sport. We're dealing with a global pandemic, and nothing is ideal, whether it be baseball or, soccer. I think, Will's a big soccer fan, so they're performing stuff in empty arenas and stadiums, and there's, that fan dynamic is a factor anywhere. I mean, how much do fans play a part in a momentum shift in football, or a rally in baseball? It's very, very key, and it's very important to power also. But I think the bottom line is, we want to see wrestling. Wrestlers want to wrestle. I think probably there has to be this sense. And again, I don't know. I don't have any conversations. And I think the NWA talent has been very noble and very forbearing in this. And of course, Nick Aldis and William Patrick Corgan have a good handle on things and the way things are going to go. But I think they have to look around them and say, everybody else is wrestling. Maybe we ought to entertain the idea that maybe we need to be wrestling too, because life's got to go on at some point. I mean, we don't, at some point we will get a handle on the pandemic and this and that, but you can't just subordinate everything and just completely cease to operate, or then you let opportunity pass you by, and next thing you know, you're a footnote. So I don't know. I would be open for empty arena stuff. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's not our preference. We don't want that. But if that means we get to see Nick Aldis defend the title, Thunder Rosa defend the title, Aaron Stevens defend his title, Zicky defend the tag champs. I'm for it, man. Let's see some wrestling.
James Lawrence mentions if everyone agrees to wear masks, a live audience is possible. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're talking about, James. It just if you've got the social distancing in place and the masks and that sort of thing, would it be possible? I was listening to a audio show today. I think it was the Bruce Mitchell audio show, and he was talking about he's very much against even WWE and AEW doing what they're doing. He's obviously happier with AEW taking the precautions that they're taking already better than WWE, as we've seen over the time here. And but he points out that sorry, I just got a weird text message. I'm still here. I lost my train of thought for a second. But where was I going with that? I lost my total train of thought. I'm so sorry. You know who you are out there watching right now, and you screwed me up. You screwed me up.
It wasn't me. No, you were talking about Bruce Mitchell and his podcast, and he was, against WWE and AEW continuing to do shows. And
yeah, so I remember now where I was going with that is one of the things he was talking about. The whole reason these companies kept going is that he was talking about in the past that there were like off periods in wrestling, like that wrestling wasn't always 365. That there were times that, like in St. Louis, which was the biggest promotion at the time, he was just making this reference that like they would have time off because help me out, Rob, who ran St. Louis? Muchnick, right?
Yeah, Sam
Muchnick. Yeah, that he loved baseball. So in the summer, they would really just not run anything because he liked going to baseball games. And so he was like, everybody runs year round right now because it's the way it's always been done, but it hasn't always been done that way. And there's time for people to pause and regroup and stuff. But the reason that AEW or like especially WWE is running right now is he says they're taking this huge risk because there's probably this worry that like people won't come back, or like there's this some kind of inner thought that like, well, if you stop, is everybody going to come back? So you have to keep it going out of habit or something like that. And he was saying, obviously he thought that was crap. And I think we're kind of seeing that with NWA. I feel like is I guess where I'm going with that. Like it's okay that they've taken this break. I think that we've got a rabid fan base for the NWA product that is still around, that is just waiting for more stuff, and they're willing to wait, and they're going to come back once it starts back up. Are you guys feeling that same way, or do you get like, how do you feel about that theory that like you have to run year round, or should time off is okay?
I mean, time off isn't ideal, but it's definitely okay. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times historically in the NWA. It's not, I mean, I've always argued that the NWA's lineage goes back well before 1948, that when the NWA was founded in 48, they were only christening a championship that they already recognized. And that belt goes back prior to that. And so you're looking at world wars and depressions and all these kinds of things that have been interrupted. It was not uncommon for titles to be defended very, sparsely to build up that prize fight type mentality. And, we mentioned Earl Caddick, who's reigning as world champion during World War I. He leaves to fight in World War I, comes back like 2 years later, still the champion, hadn't defended it, comes back and defends the belt. So it's not ideal, but it happens. I guess I'm just like, I think with AEW and WWE, there's probably some television contracts that they have to satisfy as well that requires them to continue to do this. Whereas, what we're doing is basically YouTube centered and oriented. But there are some things like I don't want us to live in a dystopian society. I don't want to the virus is here. We've got to have common sense, like the gentleman who Mr. Darwin, Jonathan Darwin, who said earlier, he said, I've got a mother-in-law who's high risk and I've got to consider that. Yes, that's what we need to do. We've got to learn to operate and function in this climate. And that means that if you're in a high risk category, you need to be cognizant of that and take appropriate precautions and everything. But we can't sacrifice our culture and our life and enter this dystopian world and create, enter this reality that might not ever go away if we relinquish too much. I don't know. Baseball is way too important to not have, and wrestling is way too important to not have.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'm seeing in the chat like a lot of people just talking about that the NWA fan base will still be there. I'm also seeing that who was it? John Blaine, I think, in the chat here saying that that promotions maybe shouldn't be off, but talent could have time off. I think that would be ideal, really. The thing is like in I think that's always been the argument, is that why you don't have like one central star that just carries the whole promotion. Is something that WWE's always had a huge deal with, or at least recently. And so like you should be able to give like a, let's say it was John Cena or something, that John Cena can go take 2 months off and you've got people that can fill the gap and carry the show, that like you could give somebody time off and it doesn't matter. And how can we miss somebody if they never go away? That's always been the ultimate thought, or the saying as it goes. So yeah, I'm with you that maybe if a promotion even continues going on, that we perhaps have people be able to take time off and go in and out. I always thought that was one of the cool things about the NWA, or potentially one of the cool things about the NWA, is that people could come in and out of the company, and then that would, keep it fresh with like new stars in and out.
Yeah. I mean, and they have done a good job. And I think, the NWA made a very valiant effort with Carney Land, which was really good. I mean, there were some, we've got there, it was such a wide palette of content, and different people appreciated stuff in different ways, but at least that was an effort to keep the NWA brand and the personalities that was an effort to keep them in the public mind, kind of like what you were saying earlier about people forgetting about it and stuff like that. But there was some stuff, Carney Land content, that I thought was really excellent. I hope that continues on when things come back, because I love the what's called and all this stuff. And I was really appreciating the daily tips from Eli Drake. Even I know I've been critical of him, but the empowerment series from Girl Power, everything was so worthwhile, man. It was like really, it's like you've got this package of behind the scenes shoot content all the time, and that was really nice to have. But the bottom line is we're wrestling, and we need to get back to wrestling, and so I'm hoping that even if it means that we're not doing Power, because I understand how important the crowd dynamic is to Power, for just doing empty arena shows like the Tim Storm Josephus thing, that's fine with me. That's better than not having anything.
So I want to thank everybody that's here in the chat right now. And if things seem a little awkward, like as far as the discussion goes, it's just because we have had all kinds of weirdness tonight, and it's mostly my fault. I'll take full blame, just being authentic. I am on call for my shoot job. Unfortunately, right now, this still does not pay the bills. So even with the lovely donations we've gotten over at the NWApod.com, which you guys can still offer if you want to buy us a beer, a one-time donation, or a monthly donation over there. You can buy merch in the merch store, the hashtag NWA fam merch, and also just hitting subscribe right here on the YouTube channel. Here's what we got to do right now. Because I was not here to start the live show, Will had to start it, but he's got the free version of Zoom, and they don't like 3 people rolling through this thing right now. So if you guys, we appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. If you guys could stick with us, we're going to have to end this session, and then we're going to have to start a brand new one. So if you guys could just bear with us as this live chat ends and another one begins. I hope you guys are okay with that, and you'll all come back to join us. We don't really have a choice. Am I right, Will? Am I on the right?
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do.
Yep, is what it is. We love you guys. We hope you're going to see us in the next chat, which we're going to start immediately. So you'll just have to back out of this one and come into the next one, and just give it like 2 minutes. and we'll start it right back up. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching this one. If we don't see you in the next one.